Good morning, welcome. It's the early morning Sunday show with a voice that's almost back to normal. Maybe not quite, but getting there. Friday, finally, after 9 days, felt halfway decent. I got up and I go, I don't feel like crap. It's gonna be a great day. So hey, all right. Anyway, I'm gonna say about this week. This is the bad, but new week coming, excited. When the Lions beat the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs without a couple good players. Well, everyone misses players here and there. The fact is, the Lions won. So, what more can you ask for on that one? Yay. Pretty happy. But we I didn't get a single record in the mail this week. Trying. I've actually done fairly well bringing it down. I brought a car in, and they go, well, that's going to be $1,200. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah. I guess we got to have priorities, don't we? And I don't have a bicycle. Well, my wife doesn't have a bicycle anymore, so better get the car fixed. But a couple call outs real quick. TKR Video Central, he's having a contest, and it's a very interesting contest. You don't even have to sub his channel to enter. Of course, he'd like you to. It's worth doing. He puts out a video almost every day. Very slick, very nice, very well thought out, very intelligent. So, check out his channel, TKR Video Central. Enter his contest. Well worth looking into. I'm gonna, try to do that. I don't do many contests anymore. It's just, time and getting it in, but give that a shot. Channel, a newer one to me, has 198 subs, is Life of Vinyl. And I can't think of the host's name right offhand. He he focuses a lot on classic rock. There's other things, obviously, but classic rock, well spoken. I believe he's from England. So he has this wall behind him of tile that is kind of like like you're on drugs. You're on a bad drug trip or something. I mean, it's just like it's trippy, really different. But I'll give that channel a shout out. And yeah, that's about it. George Ellen, if you're out there watching, I hope you're doing all right. Haven't seen anything from you. I know you've had things kind of shut down for a little bit, but if anybody knows how George is doing, let me know. All right. I actually could talk. I think I talked better yesterday than I did today, but it's all a process. All right, so let's, I got this in. This came from Don, the old goat, and I had just bought a reissue. I got a note here somewhere. There it is. It says, Steve, I know you have a reissue, but for a 40-year-old record, this plays pretty good. Look at that. Don has his own thing, man. Pretty cool. There's no beard on the guy. That's like Mr. Magoo. That nice, beautiful. I had been looking for this album for a long time. My local store would get it in, Radio Wasteland, and then it would sell out. Words on one side, picture on the other. And so I just wasn't getting a hold of one. And when I was out looking, I wasn't finding them. It used to be a pretty inexpensive album. It's not. I heard Don had showed this. This is, man, I just got a reissue. Or he saw it on my video. I just got a reissue. But I think I mentioned it to him. Because I looked everywhere for that. Finally went for the reissue price. And Don sent it to me. I'll probably get rid of my reissue. Because this is the original. So thank you, Don. That was really cool. Very unexpected. My local Radio Wasteland, Jim Gleason, he gave me this. This is pretty funny. Kelly's Heroes is like one of the greatest movies growing up. I think it came out in 70, I believe. Telly Savalas, Donald Sutherland's on there, Don Rickles, Clint Eastwood. It's basically like a spaghetti western in World War II. And it's hilarious. Donald Sutherland's just this old hippie, hey man, it's the colors, woof woof. Just funny, it's just so good. And I remember I had the soundtrack. I always had the soundtrack because, I watched this movie whenever it was on TV, and it was on TV every year. I had to watch it, and the soundtrack, was okay. I played this. I really like the soundtrack now. For instance, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. I couldn't remember how their rendition would go. Well, one of those songs. they throw in a bunch of guitar, psyche guitar, and that. Same with I've been working on the railroad, but the Battle Hymn of the Republic was really, it was pretty cool. It's just psychedelic guitar onto this hymn. Oh, man. You have a lot of Western type feel to some of the songs, but also some psychedelic type guitars going on. Yeah, this was fun. So, Jim, thank you. A lot of fun. But we got some other albums, and I bought this. I was in Denver. I had the CD, saved the CD, but obviously don't have the case. But I always wanted it on vinyl, never seen it. And bammo, there it is, Radio Birdman. This group, well, if you watch Mike, and Mike, his channel has been ranking. If you watch Mike's channel, he talks about this group all the time, and for good reason. They were great. Out of Australia, I think Melbourne, started in 74, broke up in 78, reformed in 96 to 08, broke up, reformed in 2014, and still going. They took their name, Radio Birdman, from a Stooges song. It was a misheard lyric. The Stooges song, what was the name of the song? I can't think of the name of the song, but they said Rockin' Burnin', and they thought, they said Radio Burnin', and they thought they said Radio Birdman. And so I said, well, let's call our group Radio Birdman. And they did. And thus, this group was born. There is nothing special, just red, black, no little book, but we do got lots of words in there for you. This group, really, they formed as they wanted to challenge the music that was happening in Australia at the time. The Olivias, the Bee Gees, anything else. They thought everything, let's challenge the commercial mainstream and come up with our own stuff. And it was very much a do-it-yourself band. They put out an EP. They had no help from anybody. No one was interested in them. So they were just doing their own thing and out there. The music, if you like MC5 and the Stooges, they definitely were something they had been listening to, because you feel that Detroit rock sound. Seymour Stein, he had come down to Australia, and he was going to sign the Saints, one of those great Aussie punk bands. And he heard and saw Radio Birdman and really liked them and signed them too. So that's how they got signed. And, so they got some promotion behind them. They were doing a world tour. There was a lot of hype, that, this group's going to do great. Fantastic. And you can see, 74 to 78, that's all this on 2 record set. That's a lot of music they were putting out. But they were touring in Europe, and they were going next. They're coming to the U.S. next. They're going to tour with the Ramones. And Sire Records was having financial trouble, and they had to drop some groups. Boom. This was one of them. So now here they are. No money, nothing coming in. Tours are dried up. Went back and pretty much was the end of them. But this is just pure punk fun. They have the Immortal. That's on every punk comp. Aloha Steve and Dano, where they take those, that Hawaii 5-0 theme song with those surf guitars, put their own kind of spin on those guitars, and just a stinking fun song. My God. I was just so delighted when I saw this. This is a beautiful reissue, I believe from 2018, if I remember right, and very happy with this thing. It was a great CD. This is something I picked up at Radio Wasteland here in town. The Dead Can Dance. And it was in the shrink. This thing was sealed. Now, an old album sealed, I'm hesitant on buying it because you're paying for it being sealed. But you're going to open it. Well, there's a few people that won't open it. They'll keep them for collecting reasons and keep them sealed as they collect sealed records. Which is... I don't get it, but it's fine. Hey, whatever you want, right? But this one, so this was sitting for a long time there. And I would look at it. You ask Jim Gleason's like every week, I'd look at it. And, it's like that. It was like on Wayne's World, when Wayne would go and look at the guitar. Oh, yes, someday you will be mine. Someday you will be mine. That's what I was thinking about this thing. I mean, I could tell if someone moved the record. Where'd that record go? Did you sell it? I finally did it. I finally bought it. And so here we have the Dead Can Dance. And the Dead Can Dance, they formed in 81, broke up in 95, out of Australia. I think they reformed in 2011, if I remember right, and are going again. So they are from Australia. Two Australian bands. Mike. All right. Really, this is the Australian edition of the Early Morning Show. So, to explain it, neoclassical dark wave, possibly, might be a good way to explain them. Ambient, a lot of folk in there. Textures. Lisa, it's a two-person group. Lisa Gerard, and Brendan Perry. They're out of Australia. In 82, they moved to London. And that's where, obviously, they just formed a group and decided, let's go to London. We're going to have a bigger chance. It was probably a good move for what was going on in London with goth and everything. I think that was a smart move of them. So this, really, they do like soundscapes. And in those soundscapes, you'll hear Gaelic, Gregorian chant, Middle Earth, Middle Eastern, Middle Earth. Yes, there's hobbits singing. There's hobbits. Middle Eastern type music is happening in there. So you're going to get that feel within this. And it's interesting, and they were doing this before Enigma in those groups of the 90s. I think, you could call them kind of one of the beginners of using all this. So, very atmospheric and very symphonic, especially this album. And I believe this was their third album. His third album came out in 87. And on this, Perry sings on one side, Gerard sings on the other side. Kind of two different worlds. Still very similar, but Gerard has this very unearthly alto. And when she's singing, and there's these drums going in the background, it is really neat. And the horns and the swirls, and you feel this classical type music, but yet kind of Middle East gypsy type stuff going on. Yeah, I know it sounds complex or whatever, but it's Dead Can Dance. It's a really, really neat album. And, goth really got into Dead Can Dance. So I don't know, maybe some of their stuff was more goth, but it's atmospheres. And I don't know, I don't think you can dance to it personally, but I was glad I finally picked it up. So yeah, Dead Can Dance, second album. I think I said the name of this. Within the realm of the dying sun. Within the realm of the dying sun. Ooh. Okay, now let's get back. We got some lottery. And this is from the letter H. And this came from Richard. 9496 tall. 9496 tall. I've been subscribed to Richard's channel for years. He does a lot of, he'll drop songs out there and play a song or an album. And a rocker. He likes rock. Obviously, Jethro Tull. Excuse me. Still get coughing fits. I always wake up in the middle of the night for a coughing fit. That one really pulled the back. Ouch. Okay. So, he sent me this album, The Heavy. Yes, there's a couple others too. And these guys came out of Bath, UK, in the UK. So, The Heavy was formed by 4 friends who had a love for R&B. And the music is more indie rock, alt rock, funk rock, I think you could easily say. And they've put out 6 albums. I knew their hit song, but I didn't know who made it. And, it was it How You Like Me Now. How You Like Me Now has been on so many movies, so many commercials. It is everywhere, and I never knew who made it. I now know it was The Heavy. It was on this album. This is their second album, The House That Dirt Built. This came out in 2009. And this album is like, wow, where have you been in my life? Where have you been? So it's just one of these, another lottery album, another marriage. Being married to a new album. And you go, I love you. But I haven't seen you. And yeah, no, very good. You've seen them from the distance because of that hit song, but yet you never got together because you didn't know their name. But once you knew their name and that hit song, it was love at first sight. Okay, so really kind of garage rock with a soul sound. Obviously, how You Like Me Now is a song that it was like Jack White and James Brown got together and let's do the song. It's what it sounds like. It blows me away. I love that song. Man, there's the song on here. It starts off with "Oh No, Not You Again." Explosive rocker. What a way to start. It just, it's like your speakers, wow, man, that's good. What we have? Cause for Alarm. That was interesting because they would use dub in there. And, you're kind of thinking, almost back toward the Clash, stuff like that. But with this dub going on, did a nice job with it. And Ensign stuck with a beautiful, lush strings. Kind of different, but I'm glad it ended with that. So, wow. So, Richard, man, this was awesome. Yeah, happy to have that one. And Invisible Families. This came to me from the lottery from Aaron Mutha Alamer, another one of his albums. And this was a trio of people that they were people. Yes, they weren't animals. There was a trio of people. They'd done a lot of session work in New York City. Very, just tons of stuff for a lot of different artists. And finally decided, let's do our own album, which they did. And it's called Disturbing Wildlife. Look at that. All right. I got a hawk. I got a hawk on this side too. Anything's just a fancy, cool pattern on there of wallpaper. I don't know, I wouldn't want that as wallpaper. So, Disturbing Wildlife from the Invisible Families came out. This came out 2014 is when it came out. And it is their only album. And it's kind of a cross to me between experimental and indie rock music, because there's stuff just thrown in here to go, what is this? What is that? It made it really interesting. Heaven's All was one. That was the Heavenly All was one. And that was a very neat. There's just these swooning choruses happening and kind of these psych flourishes, but yet there's this strangeness going on underneath it. I mean, it's just different. Clever Devil was the opening track, and Clever Devil sounded like T-Rex. I mean, the singing was like T-Rex. It was very bouncy. It was very interesting. Again, weird sounds being tossed in there for whatever reason. As the album goes, it gets stranger and stranger. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. The first side's really solid, especially the first 4 or 5 albums. They're kind of different. But yeah, it was fun. It was catchy. There's plenty of catchy stuff. Plenty of interesting music that keeps you wondering, okay, let's do that again. What did I hear on there? So, yeah, Invisible Familiars. I said, keep saying families. Invisible Familiars. Once in a while I get things right. So, it's been sick. I could blame it on being sick, but I do it every week, so I really can't. Maybe I'm sick. Constant.
Have we met? It's a pleasure trying a new campaign. Controls all the weather, so we don't need a sweater. He's a ghost dressed in leather, rather not speak his name.
How about this one? 3D Invisibles. Wow. The Shrink is an original. This group, formed in Detroit. Detroit group formed in 81. Still happening. You can find them on YouTube, by the way. Not a lot of information about them. It's like a Frankenstein fusion of early punk, threw in some famous monsters, some 60s pop, some 50s music, and sci-fi. It's not psychobilly. It's not really rockabilly. Maybe punkabilly. No, punk. Maybe rock horror, punk horror. It's fun. It's a Rick Mills formed the group, and he had been in this group called Crayon Killers. Cool name. It was a punk band, and it had a lot of pop influences. Well, they decided, let's go in a different direction. And so they decided, why don't we, they called themselves the 3D Invisibles. Am I saying Invisibles? I had some Invisible in here. Like, I got 2 Invisible albums. So you may not be seeing this. I don't know if you are. I'm sorry. But they decided, let's just add horror. We'll wear costumes. How about we'll wear costumes and we'll have stage names? So it's Monster Matt, Chris Jude, and Creepy Rick. Creepy Rick's on the guitar and lead. Monster Matt's drums, there, Jude's bass. And so you have such songs as Monsters Across the USA, Cool Ghoul, Stake on My Heart, Mutant, Island of Zombie Women, Midnight in the Wax Museum, Strange Adventures in Outer Space. All right, you're not going to get anything. If you're really into your music being substance, Probably not happening. Necromancer is the name of the, yeah, Neurotic Bop is the label. I've been talking a long time and I'm really losing it now. Okay, so it's just three guys having fun. That's what it is. Again, you can put them up on YouTube. You'll still see them out there having fun. They did some like 80s, their own like sci-fi movies to their music. Really low budget. Yeah, I just found it in a record store. What's that? I don't know. I didn't know they were a Detroit band. And I looked, how about that? So they're still Martin. You probably have seen these down in Hamtramck. Don't doubt you've seen them in Hamtramck or anybody else in that area. They're still out there. Yeah, it's good in small doses. I couldn't do a day of them. Small. And we have got this one. We'll finish up with this. Best of Sir Douglas Quintet. I bought this at Noble Records. This is an original. Came out in 1966 on Tribe Records. And it was signed by Lee Hakin, whoever that is. Doug Sam. And the best of the Sir Douglas Quintet is Doug Sam. They formed in 64, broke up in 73. Then Doug Sam went out on his own, did solo albums in a variety of other groups like Texas Tornadoes. This is just good time music with its roots are in blues and more of Texas regional music. Tex-Mex. This is really Tex-Mex at its best where it's getting started. Doug Sam and Augie Myers started this. Augie Myers on organ. And it has their hit that came out, She's a Mover. That was a big hit in 65. And of course, we start with that. So in the Tex-Mex sound, they really brought to the forefront. This did not have my favorite, Medicino, because that came out in 68. Remember, they kept going. So they had their one hit, and what does the record company do? Greatest hits package. Let's put out a greatest hits, the best of. They get people to buy more. Record companies were a bunch of bastards. I guess they still are in some cases, I don't know. But 60s, it was bad. So it's just a mix of sick, and after they had formed, in the mid-60s, they went to San Francisco, and they became part of that Haight-Ashbury, Summer of Love, all that kind of stuff, and very popular around there. But, and their music changed some, but definitely you have this Tex-Mex fun feel to this thing. I do love this group. I used to have Greatest Hits. It was, later one had Medicino in it, but fun stuff. So that's it for this week. Had a classical, but I'm not going to have time to show that, so I talked too long. So thanks for dropping by and being a part of this. What video did I show on the front? I haven't edited it yet. So, Puerto Rico. That was Puerto Rico at the beginning. I think that's what I did. Everyone have a great week. Cat's still sleeping. Yeah, he sleeps a lot. Cheers. Bye.